Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Washington lost 20-12. And we've been talking about it, our initial reaction. Anger was definitely one. Frustration was one, because there were so many missed opportunities that, we looked really good at times. And you talk about, how we did early in the game. We shut down that offense. Saquon had a couple moves, and, Daniel Jones had a couple little times where he got a couple yards here and there, but we shut down that offense for a considerable part of the game, because they only had two first downs or two third down conversions out of 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We showed up to play, man. But like we've said, when we first came out, yesterday, it was one thing. Today, after listening to something, how could you tell people that your emotions maybe have changed a little?
It's probably more just time is one of them. And honestly, I think when I first started recognizing that the loss, and this is kind of still why I was so angry, is I was mad at us.
Yep.
Okay. I was angry at some of the big calls that took some points off the board or affected the game. But I was also mad at our play. And then I started getting a chance to look a little more into and seeing that, there were some calls that are irritating and impactful in the game. But even more so, there were plays out there that were more impactful. And it gave me a chance. As someone who used to officiate sports, I used to get so angry at the end of games when coaches or fans would say to me, you lost the game for us. And I'm like, there were 60 minutes of play, and you're going to worry about two calls.
Exactly.
That type of stuff. And so I was able to let that type of, mentality kind of take over and really give a chance to take a step back on saying, but I think what I was most frustrated about this whole game is I say that the message I sent in the Let's Talk Football thread is we lost this game. Mm-hmm. And that's a simple statement. And there's a lot of deeper meaning behind that. And that's what has me most frustrated. It's like, dang, we lost that game. We gave that away. We had a chance to keep this thing moving, and they made mistakes to prevent that from happening.
Well, absolutely. And that's it. And one of the other parts about that is, you heard in some of the, the pregame speeches and some of the stuff where the announcers are talking were about Saquon, and Saquon was had a real gut check and said, the big players, they need to step up in these type of games and this and that. And you were hearing stories like that, and he had that type of a game, but I felt like we came out flat. I felt like after having the bye week, we should have been amped. One of the things that, you and I both listened to a bunch of pods today. One of the things that I kept kind of hearing is that we had the momentum going to keep this thing moving along, but it's like we weren't playing our style. Like we weren't us. Now, certain things they did that kind of stopped, what we had going on, but we weren't really jacked up till you have that one drive where, we straight 5 plays, just straight drive down the field. And it's like, all right, everybody's kind of with it. But it was kind of like, even with, we'll go with offense, in particular, but it was just like, what are we, we almost didn't look like ourselves at certain parts, especially in that first half. And it's like, I'm going to be very honest with you. Going to that Lions game, that first half kind of looked similar to that, where we just looked like we couldn't get out of our own way. Like our defense was helping us and kind of keeping us relevant, but our offense was just between the penalties, obviously a strip sack. Kayvon Thibodeau just had his way, but it was just we didn't even everybody's looking at the last part of the game, like you were saying, but we didn't even seem like we came out until the second half. We didn't seem like in the beginning that we were even charged for that game. We talk about this games to December to remember. I mean, when is the last time you can remember us having a game this impactful coming out of a late bye towards the end of the year? We're on a great run. And I can't remember us having this kind of a game, and we just didn't come out. We didn't come out of the gate ready, and they got us.
And see, it's kind of interesting because I was actually having this conversation with Jack, and I feel the opposite way, where we came out playing fine. I was okay with it. Our first drive, we went 41 yards, and we stalled. And then the next drive, we went 47 yards and kicked a field goal. So we were moving the ball. What I got frustrated about is the whole thing that has been kind of the theme of our offense this whole year is we can't overcome mistakes.
Yep.
And so we were getting out there. We were moving the ball, each time between running plays and Brian Robinson starting off hot and taking people, 3 guys to carry him and pushing piles and a couple throws by Heineke. We were moving the ball. And I was like, man, these first 2 drives, we're doing a really good job of getting all the way to the 40, the 35. Mm-hmm. And then we imploded.
Yeah.
Between penalties, between, delay of games, that's what was getting me frustrated. We're like, we had them go 3 plays and out, 5 plays and out, and so it wasn't until in the second quarter that they had that big drive where they went 97 yards and took, 9.5 minutes off the clock. That was a really bad drive that we gave up. But in the first quarter, the score was only 3-0, but I was like, we're dominating this game.
Right.
We're getting them. We're crushing them. So there was some new wrinkles that we saw, but I was enjoying those wrinkles, even though, Thibodeau was making the big plays in the beginning. I felt like we were still going. So I was okay with the start. But I also may be in the minority here because you're not the only person that said this to me.
Yeah. Look, honestly, I felt like with the running game, I liked it. And you know what? You might have said it best a couple weeks back. We're excellent between the 20s. Between the 20s, and you saw it in this game on Sunday, we were hitting passes. It wasn't like we were being stopped. Like you were saying, Robinson had a great first start. We were getting the ball out to our running backs, out to our wide receivers. Jahan Dotson got a couple receptions, but it was just like once you get to about the 34, which was average, we had a drive that stalled there early in the game. Once you get to that part right on the outside of maybe Joey Sly's injury, it's almost like we kind of get stuck right there. Mm-hmm. Now we can get into the red zone. We had drives that we got down to the 5-yard line, drives that we got down definitely within the 20, into the 1, and we weren't able to, produce points. And that's a problem. But it's like you said, you wish we could kind of have it just complete it. Like I talked about in games before, we have to get an opening drive touchdown. We have to start fast. There were times where we had it where we're driving down the field and it's like, okay, we're getting here. And then, like you said, something happens. And it's frustrating. Because with the exception of one drive where we had the one penalty that was 10 yards and we still were able to keep going and at least get points. Once you get that one penalty, once you get, a delay of game, holding, whatever it is, it's like once we get out of sync, it takes us. It's like that old car. You got it. You can't. It's not going to be this. It's going to be, and you're going to keep having to get to it until you go. So it's frustrating, but that's what we're looking like right now, man.
Yeah. And then I love the comment by Ben. They put up there, and that's certainly something that we're actually going to talk about once we do a little bit of the game recap, because Sean and I are kind of looking at this as well. But it also shows to what he's saying is, and it goes to your point of we can't handle adversity on this offense.
Yeah,
a couple times I would get frustrated that if we got tackled on first down and on a handoff play that doesn't go anywhere, or we don't get any yardage on first down and we're coming at 2nd and 10. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of difficulty getting past that. One of the things, if we threw on first down and it didn't work out, we would come back on 2nd and 10 and run the ball, and then we get stopped, and then we were at 3rd and long, and it just we couldn't. It just seemed that we started to get a little predictable on offense, where it's like if it was 2nd and long, we're going to run the ball because we want to get 3 or 4 yards, so we make 3rd down a little bit easier, and it's like. You're getting predictable. They're blitzing on 2nd down because they did a lot of run blitz. I mean, heck, if Chris Collinsworth is calling out what's happening, how do our coaches not see what's happening out there to make some adjustments? So that's what was getting kind of frustrating. But like you said, those first 2 drives, we start churning out a couple first downs the crowd's starting to get into it. And I'm sitting there going, here we go. We're going to get in the end zone. We're starting off hot again. And this happened in the first game with the Giants too, where we got up, I think 10-0 in that game. You know, we got off to a really good start and then they came back. And so that's just what was kind of frustrating because I felt we were starting off with some momentum, I felt, but we just weren't able to capitalize on any little bit of mistake. And then
thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.